Hi, this is Kathy, and this is a harmonic scenario for 6E. This is an intraday perspective, and coming into today, there was already a downside bias, and it was approaching what was a line in the sand for this brown emerging pattern, right? That number was 1.0927. Well, we took that out today. So I'm just gonna remove the color of the triangle because I still like the idea of keeping these ABCD targets to the downside. Now, I know this looks like, let me just hide these retracements targets for a second. Okay, so here's where we are. Price, there's a small ABCD, right? Right here, and that's where price stalled and bounced, right? So failure to get back above this significant level, this was the line in the sand for the 1.0927, the brown pattern. Failure to get back above there kept the downside bias and the probability of testing all levels inside this bullish butterfly PRZ, right? And that is between 1.0846 and 1.0788. So what this tells me is, once price is inside this zone, I'd ideally like to see it test all levels of the zone and then see if we can go into retracement mode. Failure to get back above this PRZ to go into retracement mode really has an increased probability of going down to the extended target of 1.0742 down to 1.0704. Okay, that's the next PRZ target. Now, here is something interesting in that there are two ABCDs that correlate at this 1.0861. That's where we initially tried to go into retracement, right? So that really says a lot for weakness if we have a double ABCD and it just cannot get up to its ideal minimum retracement. Now the smaller ABCD, I'm going to show the line. A smaller ABCD retracement target is the bottom of this blue zone at 1.1002, and that's where we want to see price get for at least some kind of respectable retracement, right? So it really says a lot if price can't even get to there, and it's a double bullish PRZ. Okie doke. Okay, next I want to take a look at gold. Now, first, let's look at the day chart. Okay, now this 1142.7 is a line in the sand level for this cyan colored pattern. It took that out. Okay, so once it took it out, I'm going to erase it. Now, the only thing that I would be looking for in this cyan pattern with the hold below there is the ABC target of 1065.8. So I'm going to leave that up there just because of that and remove the color of the triangle. And so I'm looking for that ABCD target. So I also have another emerging pattern that creates a zone between it and that ABCD here. So I know that seems like a big zone, but it offers a target to the downside, and how it behaves once it gets there is going to be absolutely key, right? Because I would anticipate at least a rejection at the first test, and how much it's able to retrace will be key to determine whether it's going to try to then go and test all levels inside the PRZ or continue on with the retracement target. Now, what we'll want to do for retracement targets is go to our retracement tool, and we'll go from this high to that high. And right now it looks like the zone, the retracement zone, the bottom of the zone is 1156.8. So that's going to be the area that I'm going to be, and it correlates with the significant level, actually, if we hit the ideal target for the butterfly at the 1162.1. So that's going to be an initial target, okay? This is, let me just put that on there. Okay, so we have bounce retrace target up to this 1161.1. Now that's providing that we complete the butterfly. Right now, if price were to hold above this significant level, and it's going to be a significant level, well, it's the same PRZ as there, so let's hide that. So that's also a bounce retrace target. Okay, so now we have two bounce targets. If price is able to push above this 1177, that risks changing this bias that is to the downside to the upside, implying a retest of this level of 1232.6. But right now, the bias is to the downside with bounces into resistance, right? Okay? And we're looking for this PRZ zone down here between 1081.1 and 1065.8. Now let's look at the intraday chart and see how, if we have some kind of correlation here of what we're looking at. So let's expand this first. The intraday chart, this is an hour chart, is also in a downside bias, right? And here's that significant level here. And we're looking for this zone down here. Okay, we're looking for this zone down here. But notice that we have this resistance line, and so a potential bounce up to that trend line, or this PRZ, this zone support of 1152.9. So let's look at it from this way. It's this same zone here, right? And so we're going to be looking to see if it can test the bottom of that zone. This brown pattern is on my intraday chart. So I have correlation with this trend line that correlates with the bottom of that zone. Okay? So downside bias, but let's watch for small bounces. Once price is able to hold initially above 1152.9, but more importantly, above these retrace targets on the day chart, then we have a chance of going into upside bias. All right.